2 years ago, if somebody told me that I would be recording this video now, I would not believe them. The Crow 2026. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Kreepeetz, which comes from Creepy plus Peets, but you guys can call me Peets. And yes, we do have a new The Crow movie. It's not a mainstream studio movie or part of the franchise, you know, that has the one that was released 2 years ago that we regret deeply that it exists. I love Bill Skarsgård as an actor, but they did dirty to him on that movie. But this video is not about that one. Let that one rest in pieces and not in peace. Alright? This is about someone called Cody Falk, which, as far as I know, is a huge fan of The Crow and decided to take on his own hands and make his fan version of The Crow. I should have recorded this video a long time ago, but like my life has been absolutely chaotic and I didn't have time to do that. But here we are, because I want to share with you guys this lovely piece. So in 2026, we do have Days of Sodom, a Crow fan film by Wet Paint Pictures with the director Cody Falk, which is also the actor The Crow. So the movie has been on the making for 2 years-ish, and it came out 2 weeks ago. This is gonna be a spoiler-free review, by the way, because I want you guys to not have anything ruined. And if you guys want to watch the movie to take your own conclusions and let me know what you guys think about it. So anyway, without any further ado, it's no surprise that I'm a huge fan of The Crow, right? The OG one. And I was very sad when the 2024 one came out, and to me that was like a point of no return. It was like, yeah, it's done. There's not gonna have like any The Crow movie, anybody's gonna make a The Crow movie anymore. It's it, and it's done. We got what we got, you know. Remake is bad, and nobody's gonna touch this story again. But apparently, Cody Falk, if I'm mispronouncing your name, by the way, I'm so sorry, I am Brazilian, decided that give his own take on the story. And there's where Days of Sodom, a Crow fan film, takes place, which, by the description, is a feature-length film that serves as a supernatural detective noir film. He doesn't know why he was chosen, he only knows that somehow he has returned from the dead with a mission. Guided by a mysterious crow, a police detective, Thorn Grey, returns from the grave to seek vengeance on the officers who murdered his wife. But the murders may be more than he bargained for, as he finds that he's fighting for much more than revenge in his explosive hell ride through love, grief, depravity, and a city in collapse. And this short description is a very, very good introduction for the movie. Very often movies don't have like a very good introduction. But this is a very good one. It's a similar story to our original The Crow, but a different take. A fan take. And I didn't know about this movie at all. I was completely unaware of this movie until 5 days before it was released. I just discovered because some friends of mine from Ireland, they messaged me and they were like, Pete, you need to watch that. That is going to be cool. If you can record a review, it's also going to be cool. So yeah, here we are. Knowing indie movies, you never know what to expect, right? And I gotta say, Cody Falk and the whole team, if you guys are watching this, I don't know, I respect these guys. I really respect these guys because they were very bold of making a fan movie after the disaster that it took place in 2024, and the whole The Crow atmosphere was like, what is happening, you know? So that is really cool by itself. First of all, the thing that got my eyes as soon as I started the movie, and in like 5 minutes into the movie, I got like, that is interesting. It was the 90s recipe on that, all right? I'm a child of the 90s. Like, for us millennials and people that like grew and watched a lot of movies in that era, there is something about the way the things were and the way the things looked and the way that the colors were and the way that the acting was that I don't know how these guys were able to put in this movie. Like, if you showed me this movie and said like, this is found footage of what was supposed to be The Crow in 1995, let's say, like, it would be like one of the continuations of The Crow or like another The Crow movie, I would totally believe, because there's a lot throughout the whole movie. There's a lot of 1990s there. Even sort of the film quality gives that as well, which is not a complaint. I absolutely think that it was a very nice touch that helped us fans of the original movie to just like sit back and relax and be like, okay, we're walking into something really cool here. Walking into the color grading. The color grading in most of the movie, it's kind of like the same inspiration from the original one, Cold Temperature, because it's a cold story, right? It's sad. It's about vengeance. It's like a lot of like sad emotions, and this portrays super well. But they did something that I would like to give props to the color grading team and the photography team as well. It's the neon. I wasn't expecting some of the purple and pink neons that were happening there, and that made me, my brain got such a clash of like 1990s and like cyberpunk vibes. So it kind of like it was a nice mix for me to watch that and see like, oh, this is kind of like modern, but it is still like 1990s. It was really nice. The whole purple shading that happens throughout the movie in some moments, in some key moments, is really, really, really interesting. When it comes to indie movies, you never know what to expect. And like they had such a professional quality when it comes to photography and color grading there as well. No scene except for one little B-roll feels like it doesn't belong to the movie. There was just one little B-roll that like was kind of like a drone flying throughout the city. It's literally like 5 seconds. But that one was the only one that I could point the finger and be like, that kind of feel like it doesn't belong here. So like, and this is completely like, you can totally just get through that and like, yeah, whatever. That it's just 5 seconds, you know, like the whole thing is really good. It's really good. The editing was also really, really good. It's a mix between indie editing and like the 90s Hollywood editing, which is really, really good and well paced. I would just say that like some moments, some scenes, they had like too long of a second. I'm being very picky here by talking about the editing having like some indie moments, because you don't feel that the whole movie. The whole movie is a very, very, very good flow. But I have to say that because some people may be a little bit triggered by the indie part of editing, where things are a little bit slower than Hollywood. Some frames you see there, like you expect something to happen, but it's just a frame to portray everyone's reaction in the room, right? So you see like something happening between two people, they're gonna have like a frame that shows the third person that has kind of like just a participation in that scene, but like they wanted to show their reaction as well. So this is a very indie thing that's like showing everyone instead of just focusing on like the full action the whole time. On the other hand, something that I thought it was really cool, and if I had a hat I would take it out and just like, oh my god, props to that, is the special effects. A lot of practical effects, a lot. There's some digital effects as well. They were quite okay, right? They were not like spectacular because the movie didn't ask for that, in my opinion. But the practical effects, so well made. Like there's a lot of gore in the movie, which I wasn't expecting, and I absolutely loved that. Like there was some scene, I'm not gonna say anything because you guys have to watch and see with your own eyes. Right, but there was this one scene where something happens and it's pretty gore, and it was kind of like this first moment of gore in the movie, they really gore in the movie, that I got like, oh, we're walking down that lane. That is so cool. Because the Crow, the story of the Crow and the whole environment of the story of the Crow, it is violent. So like seeing that violence was really, really, really cool. And that violence comes not only in the visual, but also the topics. There are several sensitive topics that like kind of like it's gonna trigger some people or something like that, but all of those violent moments, especially the non-physical ones, they come with like a lot of like social criticism, which I thought it was pretty cool. Very, very well placed. It's very subtle. It's not something like, oh, we are trying to give a message and we are being very, very activist about it. No, it's a thing that like it lingers in the atmosphere and you pick that up and just like, oh, I see what you guys did there. And it's a movie inspired by the comics as well. I don't know about the comics, still haven't read them. One thing got me very surprised, if not the most surprised of the whole movie. Probably one of the hardest things as well to do, which is who is the Crow and how is that character gonna behave? I feel like it's such a hard job to do that after the legacy that Brandon Lee left. In this case, I think that they did such a good job because like it's really clear the love story and the love between the Crow and his wife. Very nice to see him before he becomes the Crow, because he's very humane and not in a very, very Hollywoodian way of being human. It's a very raw way of being human, like anxiety, kind of thoughts that are portrayed. It really shows like a normal human. And you see that the crow before he becomes the crow, and you just get like, that could be anyone, you know, that I know, because I know a lot of people that are going through like that kind of struggle and like have that kind of mindset and like that kind of like conversation, the kind of those kinds of emotions. So I thought that he did that so well because it's such a raw human, right? It's so well portrayed. But then you also have the other side, which is the crow, and it's also very hard because like, what is the crow? He's like a symbol of vengeance, right? In this one, there are moments that I absolutely loved because the crow becomes kind of like a reverse horror movie. If you guys are not aware of what reverse horror is, it's kind of like a horror movie, but instead of you like focusing on the being afraid, the main character is the one causing terror, right? And that like you can legit see that when he's after someone, the person is in terror. Like after seeing like what the crow is and what the crow is able to do, the person is in absolute terror, and that was so well portrayed. And like, yeah, I got like, yes, reverse horror touch. That is so good. It's like, I was being fed throughout the whole movie. I was like, yes, it's almost like the crow. Like there are some moments like you feel that like the crow is the Michael Myers of justice and vengeance per se. Very bad comparison, but like that's kind of like how it feels sometimes. For real, the crow is what you expect. Badass, he's seeking vengeance, a lot of love, and he is unstoppable, right? That is the crow that we know, and that's the crow that is in this movie as well. There are also some jaw-dropping scenes, like some stuff that is like really puts you on the edge of your seat, that you just get like, is this gonna happen? Did they go that far? That's one thing about indie movies, right? Like sometimes indie movies, they are allowed to have some extreme gore, extreme violence, extreme topics in a very explicit way that is like, you get like, what? And like in this one, it's not like that, the whole movie, but there are some key moments and that you just get like, did they cut? Is that gonna, are they gonna show that? Is that really gonna happen? Is that what's happening here? But it's very well balanced. It's just to show like how humans can be evil and use and do unexpected things that you just be like, yeah, no, nobody would do that kind of thing. Let's say against a kid, for an example. And then they just put like a scene that you just get like, what? And the name Days of Sodom, it was, in my opinion, a very good pick, because I don't know if it's related to that, but they did mention that in the movie, so I think it is. They did mention the 120 Days of Sodom, which is a novel from 1785, and it details a lot of like extreme sexual torture and murder young victims by very wealthy people. There are things like that in the movie that you just get like, this was such a cultural reference, right? I didn't know about that. I'm not posing as someone that knows about 100 Days of Sodom. I just saw that and I was like, what is Days of Sodom? And I was like, I need to Google that. Another thing, pointing out the makeup. What was that makeup? I would be bold enough to say that it looks almost more sick than the original. Don't hate me on that, guys. The makeup is really good. Like the way that the makeup is behaving, I think it's because we got better makeup nowadays as well, right? I was really thrilled by the way that the crow makeup was being portrayed. And this wouldn't be a Pete review without talking about the soundtrack, right? You guys know I'm a former composer, so I have to talk about the soundtrack. And in this case, they did not disappoint. I even discovered a new band because of them, which is Farewell Days. Really cool band, really cool band. And I was really happy to see that Dusty Gannon was in the soundtrack as well, with his former project Vision Video. Now his project is Dusty Gannon and the Agonal Gasps. You guys should check it out because they have 2 songs released already, and it's really cool. But I thought like the songs were very good picks. They give the gothic vibe and the whole sadness and cold temperature vibe. They go super well with the songs that they chose. It was a very good choice as well of songs for the people like me that are goth and fans of The Crow, right? So yeah, it really resonates with the OG one when it comes to like songs. The OG one is like, it's a staple of like soundtrack of movies, right? The whole culture and environment of the movie, and the people that watch that, they have so much passion for the songs, right? Which that's why I think that like when making any The Crow movie, people have to be so aware of the soundtrack and what do they choose to make the soundtrack, all right? And they did a good job. They did a good job with this one. And I feel that like the last thing that we have to touch here, it would be the acting. and which for me it's probably the hardest one to analyze when it comes to indie movies, because most of the indie movies, they have like a very indie acting, and this one, main characters have a very good acting. Okay, main characters can't say anything about the main characters. Main characters have a good acting. Some moments could be a little bit more polished. You know, some acting was kind of like exaggerated. Like you see, like, oh, that's not quite a reaction. But again, they made the movie in 2 years. It's an indie movie, so it's totally forgivable, right? I'm just, like I said, being very picky over that. The side characters, though, some of them, they they give you that very moment, like, oh, that person is having a hard time with the camera. You know, again, it's an indie movie. A lot of times indie movies, they bring people that are like just there to be like the guy that was gonna be shot in one scene, or the guy that's gonna be saying like, you are not allowed here, and they act literally like that, like, you are not allowed here because this is my area. And this is the kind of like exaggerated acting in a non-like a natural way. So that would be my like kind of like picky complaint. Pete's picky complaint. Overall, guys, I would just say go watch it and take your own conclusions. You know, come back here, tell me what you guys think about that. Is it too cold? Did you get like, oh, it's too indie? And for real, I really think it's a movie that does more than only bring a new Crow movie and a respectable one. They are opening like a crack in the whole universe of what is cinema nowadays. It's very sad to see that like a lot of like the big studios are just going after the money, and like we're just getting out of the whole hero saga, which were like 8 years of several hero stories, and just that, and like no original stories, no bold stories anymore. And cinema was always something that like people had to be bold, and seeing like someone making this with an indie movie and releasing on YouTube, you can watch the movie for free on Webpaint Pictures. It's just wow, these guys deserve a lot. So like for real, watch the movie, share the movie with whoever you can share with, whoever you know that like it's a fan of The Crow. Everyone that is involved in this, and by the interviews that I watched, by the people that I saw that like gave songs away for that, by the people that told me about the movie, like everyone that was involved in this, it was a lot of passion. And if you feel like we're missing that kind of stuff nowadays, you know. So yeah, overall my take of that, watch the movie, really good. I respect these guys so much for doing this. You guys are really bold and you guys deserve the world. I hope that this video makes them get like at least like, I don't know, like 5 new views. Anyway, guys, that was it. That was my review on Days of Sodom, a Crow fan film 2026. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys had a good time and you guys enjoyed the things that I pointed out about the movie. If you guys want to have more of Pete's, don't forget that I also have a gaming channel on YouTube, which is Kreepeetz Gameplays. And I also stream on Twitch every Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Alright, on twitch.tv/Kreepeetz. Thanks so much for watching. See you guys on the next video. And bye.